Watching live Impact News right here on the WCNC Charlotte streaming app. Thank you so much for joining us. We've been bopping around all over. We gave you some weather, NATO summit in Turkey, and now we're with the lovely Juliana O'Rork to talk about some scams we got to be aware of this summer. So good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Great. How are you?
Good.
Good. Okay, so let's dive into it. There are a few scams that we need to talk about today, including maybe summer sales, right?
Yep. So we know a lot of these big retailers do large summer sales. Obviously, Amazon Prime Day just happened. So we want people to be careful when these big summer sales happen because scammers know they happen and they like to take advantage of people because they come up with all different types of ideas as to how they can create lookalike websites or just different avenues to essentially take advantage of you, but utilizing and piggybacking on these big sales.
Right. I mean, and I love a sale, right? We all loved the Amazon.
I never paid full retail for anything.
No. They train you not to.
Right, exactly, literally. And that can kind of coincide with some social media posts, right?
Yeah, so anytime you're on social media, scammers live on social media. It's one of the biggest places that they are going to try to target you, and they do that really well with sponsored ads or ads in general. The ads are really splashy, they look great, they might look very similar or just like a brand because they actually snagged the brand's logo, and it looks very similar. And so the kicker is that the deal is going to be like 80% off, or it's just going to be something that's too good to be true, which we say all the time.
Right.
Such a cliche saying, but the ad will say, oh, hey, here's this product, 80% off, click, whatever. The problem is if you click, the website's oftentimes not legitimate, especially when the deals are that good in the ads. And so some of the ways you can kind of tell, first, you can hover over the ad before clicking on it to see what does that URL actually look like. It'll tell you in the bottom of that window in that screen. And so then if you do that and say maybe you feel like, okay, I can click on that. It doesn't look so crazy. If the web address has the S in it for HTTPS, it's secure. So that's one thing you want to look for. Once you get to the site, if you choose to click on the ad, look to see, are there grammatical errors? Are there spelling errors? Does it look like whomever put this website together, their first language is English? Because oftentimes these scammers are overseas and English is not their first language. So they're translating a lot of things. So you'll notice like sentences that might not make sense or words that you're kind of like, that's wrong.
Yeah.
What company, what major company would have these errors on their website? And so that's like a telltale sign as well. You can also take the images that are on these sites and do the reverse image search through Google. That's a really big one. You can, so easy to snap the picture, put it in there. It'll tell you where on the internet it appears. So that way you can see, it's all over or it's specific to this site.
Yeah, I've been doing that a lot with wedding, like dresses and stuff like that. Going to Pinterest because, obviously you're going to marry, you have a Pinterest board. But it's crazy how many sites will pop up when you do that, and then you find the original site, and you're like, okay, this is not $25. This is like $130. You know what I'm saying? So that is such good advice.
Yeah, and I have definitely seen ads of these different boutiques or certain things that I know are legitimate boutiques and shops. Yeah, and I am, because I'm familiar with them, I know who started them and who owns them and what their social media actually looks like. And then every now and again you see like some of these other maybe overseas retailers or things like that, and that you can tell they've taken the images from those people's sites because they're the same models that built the companies and stuff like that. And so you're like, well, that's interesting. Yeah. I actually know, where that came from. Or so you see stuff like that all the time. So you just have to be so careful what you click on. I mean, ultimately, scammers want your money or your financial information, your personal information, and they'll basically do anything they can to get it. Yeah. And they're really good at it. So being educated and knowing these things is super helpful.
Very helpful. Also, too, I did want to ask you this. I know it's not on our sheet today, but AI. I've seen on TikTok a lot of AI ads for clothing. Yeah. What would you have to say about that?
Yeah, I think it's the same thing, right? You just have to be super careful and know kind of what you're looking at. And I always recommend too, like, hey, if you find something on social media and some kind of a deal, if it's a specific company, whatever, go outside of that ad to see if you can find it on the internet on its own without being part of that ad, or see if you can find that same deal or discount, because a lot of times you should be able to find it, or, go to the company's website. And if you can't find it, reach out to them and say like, hey, I saw this ad. Even if it's not their ad, they'll probably want to know that it's out there and being faulty, because we always tell people too, if you see something and it's false or it's a scammer, report it to us. We want to know, so then we can come talk about it and say, hey, this is happening. It's happening in our community specifically, and so be careful.
Yeah.
Just be on high alert.
No. And it's so annoying to me too, because it's like, gone are the days where you can just click on a thing and be like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, and be like, oh my gosh, that's cute. I want to buy
Yeah.
that. Now you have to do so much research with it
do.
because, I mean, I've been scammed before from these sites. So it is, you really do have to do your research.
Yeah.
Okay. Last one, Juliana.
Yes.
What do we got?
So not only do you want to watch out for all those things on social media, fake coupons, being, savvy when it comes to these summer sales, but you also want to be really careful because scammers have also started impersonating companies with fake subscription renewal notices. So, you have all these different services that you subscribe to, you pay monthly, what have you, there's a million of them. We had a consumer report to us that they had their SiriusXM subscription and it auto-renewed one day and they got an email the next day saying they needed to renew the subscription. And the person was like, wait a minute. So they went in and, went outside from the email, logged into their account to see it had auto-renewed correctly. And but the email was so good and it came one day after he would have actually renewed, but it was a scammer trying to get a hold of him. And they had so much of this information like, oh, we know your renewal date is this. And so if it hadn't been for him going to the actual website and logging in to see if his subscription had renewed, he may not have known that that email was a phishing email. And they were just looking for him to click on the email, put all of his information in, and then they'll take his money.
That's wild.
So you have to be so careful, especially
very complex.
Yeah, especially when you're getting unsolicited emails,
Right.
stuff like that, right? Because we all know things just auto renew. Like
Right.
the world
Yeah.
we live
Right.
in, oftentimes you do not have to go in and put a new card unless, say, for instance, maybe you had to get a new card. because your
Sure,
backup
or
was
it's
what have you.
yeah.
But even now, a lot of cards and a lot of providers, even when you get that new card number, it sends the new number to the wherever you have it hooked up to. It's like one of the services you can take advantage of. And so it's just like you kind of just have to be on alert all the time, whenever it comes to putting in your information anywhere.
Absolutely.
And, we don't want people to be scared. We want them to be educated. So, have this knowledge, be prepared, be ready to take a few extra minutes. And also, I think one of the things we probably don't talk about enough is if you get on a website or you do something or you see something and you even feel the tiniest bit of off or it just doesn't feel quite right, listen to your gut.
Right.
I feel like a lot of times we're like, oh, no, it's fine. When deep down you're like, is it though? And so it's just kind of some of that stuff where maybe just take a few extra minutes, do some extra research. I mean, you can even use AI as a tool for researching. Obviously, AI is still being developed, and so it's not perfect, but it's another tool that you can use even just to look up, hey, does this company have scams going on? I mean, we've even had people try to impersonate the Better Business Bureau, selling memberships, calling businesses, trying to sell the membership, saying they're from BBB. But a lot of times, we have a page on our website who actually works for us and who doesn't, so that people can verify. But I mean, companies are impersonated all the time. And so you just have to be really careful when you're getting any type of communication where they're wanting you to complete something, fill out a form. You just want to take a minute and be careful.
Juliana, thank you so much. Definitely good information. So really appreciate you being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
Okay.